stops the stream? What? Why? I hit the space bar on accident. It's just, nope, dead stream. Straight to the gallows. Dead. 1,000,000 deaths. Allegedly, it's back. Alright, so gotta make the music quieter. Yeah, like barely noticeable. Just in the background. The most fundamental issues are very diagnosable. Chief among them is the fact that only a small subset of the player base even knows this thing exists, with an even smaller amount of people actually interacting with it. It was barely marketed outside of a tweet or two on the game's social media and a slide on the launcher for a couple weeks, and the fact that it isn't built into the game makes it super inconvenient to get to and keep track of, especially when if someone replies to you when you apply for an Community Finder is still a great tool in theory, and the systems it would need to be a success are there, and its most fundamental issues are very diagnosable. Chief among them is the fact that only a small subset of the player base even knows this thing exists, with an even smaller amount of people diagnosable.
Yeah, that works.
In theory, and the systems it would need to be a success are there.
Let's make this part a bit bigger. Zoom in a bit on him. There you go.
In theory, and the systems it would need to be a success are there, and its most fundamental issues are very diagnosable. Chief among them is the fact that only a small subset of the player base even...
Alright, let's just throw this down here. Oh, shit, I got to that point. It's the other clip I want. I forgot there's 3 of them. So, I want this. Remove this. Just go back to showing the different listings, I guess.
And its most fundamental issues are very diagnosable. Chief among them is the fact that only a small subset of the player base even knows this thing exists, with an even smaller amount of people actually interacting with it. It was barely marketed outside of a tweet or two on the game's social media and a slide on the launcher for a couple weeks, and the fact that it isn't built into the game makes it super inconvenient to get to and keep track of, especially when if someone replies to you when you apply for an FC, well, you don't get notified, so you don't know to check it. As it stands now at the end of Shadowbringers, the Community Finder is in quite a sad state. November 8th of 20... As it stands now at the end of Shadowbringers, the Community Finder tool that gave F would make it so players looking for such groups could simply open the tool and have their pick of the litter when it comes to looking...
Shit. I want to bring this down a bit so it shows the words Community Finder. Alright, so what was the exact things I said on that? 49... Yeah, we'll set this to 50. Ooh, that is close as it's going to get. It's minus 35. Allegedly.
Especially when if someone replies to you...
Let's drag the border so I can see. Ooh.
When you apply for an FC, well, you just tweet or two on the game's social media and a slide on the launcher itself. Well, you don't get notified, so you don't know to check it. As it stands, the external game social media and a slide on the launcher for
I mean, it's inside somewhat of that a bit.
Couple weeks, and the fact that it isn't built into the game makes it super inconvenient to get to and keep track of, especially when if someone replies to you when you apply for an FC, well, you don't get notified, so you don't know to check it. As it stands now at the end of Shadowbringers, the Community Finder is in quite a sad state, and hopefully in the future it will see a major overhaul and integration into the game itself, as it's a tool that it could improve the experience of many players. Released on December 8th of 2020, improve the experience of many players. Released.
So if I cut it literally right here before the quick zoom up, it's partway through it, but it's about as good as it's gonna get. So that's the break in, oh fuck, that's the break in the section. So if I drag this over here, alright.
For a couple weeks, and the fact that it is listings were being, this is by far and away the best recruitment tool I think. The Unreal trial introduced in patch 5.3 as the pilot for the whole concept was the Akafa Amphitheater Unreal, which pit the player against the Primal Ice Goddess Shield.
Hey, you have the 3rd shield now, the 6th-month shield. Hey Dio, how's it going? You actually have the new shield, Galactic. Okay, I'm happy that's working, because I haven't seen that one be used yet. Oh yeah, the monitor 1 capture. I need to move this. I need to zoom this in a bit that way. Actually, no, I don't want to. I'll just add a little, I don't know. Who cares? It's an editing stream.
And was originally released.
I didn't just accidentally end the stream, did I? No. Okay, good. I don't know most of the keybinds for the version I'm using now. Same old, only 2 field notes away now. Oh shit, nice. Yeah, I haven't gotten to go back there since, because I did all of this editing it yesterday. I got the first 25 minutes done yesterday. Like just yesterday editing this, and this is day 2 of the major editing. I mean, I'm almost at the end of this section, and this this section alone is 22 minutes. Once I get to an end of this, thank fuck.
The awaited and delayed patch 5.
Alright, so going into To the Edge here. I'm gonna say minus 30 is my guess for it being good.
3 dubbed Reflections and Crystals at launch. It was kind of a disappointment with.
How's that compared to
By
the
December of the 2019 release year, Shadowbringers, the new expansion hype had and were changed out each patch, becoming unplayable after the following patch had been released. These fights do not see any significant, if any, changes at all to their mechanics, and are only really changing the amount of health the boss has and the amount of damage they do
Just
in order
careful
to
little
meet the damage
adjustments.
outputs of players at max level, in order to bring the fight as close as possible to how it was upon its initial release. These and their complementary system Faux Hollows were added as an extra weekly activities for players to take on, and was almost a pseudo addition to Wondrous Tales. Unreal Trials were a part of Faux Hollows, where by clearing the Unreal Trial, the player would earn a telling. These tellings grant when it comes to looking for an in-game community to join. How many listings I sort through across numerous awaited and delayed patch.
It's about as good as it's going to get there. So I have the transition on that already done. Audio transitions, yoink.
Released. The long-awaited and
Insatiable
delayed patch
into
5 somewhat bare bones on a normal
To
day.
the Edge.
But I will not be counting it along with what was on. Finder.
Alright, so cut that there. And then what did I have on my shot list for... Oh, fuck, I closed the actual thing I care about. No! Of course I did. I need to turn back on music, because it's going to be a while before I have to adjust music again. Alright, so videos in progress. I have a whole section in this video that's literally just numbers. It's literally just numbers. Alright, so Life and Legacy, there we go. I labeled it wrong, of course I did. Yeah, so this is the second major section, and then there's 2 more like 10-minute sections, and then I'm done. So I'm not going to finish tonight. It's going to be going into tomorrow to actually finish the editing on this. Then I'll probably release it on Wednesday, is my thinking anyway at the moment. That could very well just not happen. Alright, so content rollouts. Okay, straight into...
As it's a tool that it could improve the
5.4 trailer. What song is played in this?
resistance weapons
If you
became
need to
available.
achieve that
While
which
not
eluded
many
in
new
the
things of note were added to the
restored
game, it was one hell of a
threat. Now, I'm different, you see.
Alright, so just more Gango stuff. I'm different, you see. Unlike my unsundered brethren, I care not for the preservation of the old world. Alright,
Patch 5.3, released on December 8th of 2020, 119 days after Patch 5.3. Patch 5.4 Futures Rewritten was the most Patch 5. Days after Patch 5.3.
I don't want the Shadowbringers
Patch
logo
5.
there. I want Bahamut though. Bahamut's
Patch 5.
cool.
Your Quantum, its tie-in dungeon, Matoya's Relic. Released on December 8th of 2020, 119 days after patch 5.
Or I'm cashing Redal for those notes, maybe the other duties, so I'm super desperate. Oh no.
5.3, patch 5.4 Futures Rewritten was the most plentiful content patch of Shadowbringers in sheer quantity. The patch brought along the new MSQ and its tie-in dungeon Matoya's Relic, the final raid tier Shadowbringers, and the first one in almost 10 months called Eden's Promise. The Sorrow of War Elite continue a cache from Mariadanum and its extreme version. The Unreal trial of the patch was switched to the Naval Unreal. More Yorha Dark Apocalypse quests were added. An additional role quest was added, a new role quest and Warring Triad tie-in questline called Void Quest were added, ocean fishing was expanded, gathering collectibles was completely revamped, the final part of the Ishgardian Restoration began, New Game Plus was expanded, and quite unusually, Monk received a mid-expansion rework that changed the job. A new treasure map called the Shifting Oubliettes of Ligaya was added, a new stage of Skysteel tools became available, Save the Queen received a new instance 48-man raid called Delubrum Regine with a 24-man Savage version, and the next stage of Resistance weapons became available. While not many new things of note were added to the game, it was one hell of a content patch, bringing as much battle content as you could ever hope to be added in a single patch. Between all the new story and side quests, along with the new Savage raid tier, Relic grind, Delubrum Regine Savage prog, Skysteel tool grind, and a continuation of the Ishgardian Restoration, players were given quite a lot to do in this new patch, which was a very nice change of pace compared to 5.3.
Is that another fucking peak there?
Continuation of the Ishgardian Restoration, players were given quite a lot to do in this new patch, which was a very nice change of pace compared to 5.3. But yeah, that's patch 5.4. Not much to talk about 5.3.
We'll cut. Okay, we'll go to the final frame at least. Alright. We'll get another shot of Lakeland, because I'm totally not sick of these fucking shots by now. It's not like I just assigned one per section. Fuck this game.
But yeah, that's patch 5.4. Not much to talk about in this section. Released on April section.
Well, that's hilariously quick.
But yeah,
Alright, so I'll change this to black and white actually. Monochrome.
but yeah.
I'll start the zoom in here.
About in this.
Let's just set it to a 2x zoom. Yeah, 2.2. Why not? That wrong thing. That's all I want to do yet. Right, so now I just need to find that one little frame. There we go.
5.4. I'll talk about in this. Yes, and I am on.
Alright. And now we drag this up. Yep. Nice little
Not much to talk about in this.
recognition shot.
But yeah, that's patch 5.4. Not much to talk about in this section. But yeah, that's patch 5.4. Not much to talk about in this section.
Alright, so that's a good bit of zoom. Luckily, this is the closing part of this. Alright, let's go back to overlays, and here, this bin, 5.4. Perfect. Ah, fuck. Are you kidding me? Not painless, but quick enough. Alright, so we want to put this it's a decent size for it. The reflections in crystal is bigger though, so Futures Rewritten can get a bit more attention. It's fine. The music is Breath of the Wild right now? Yeah. This is Lurelin Village theme.
So you don't know to check it. As it stands now at the end of Shadowbringers, released on December 8th in the future, first one in almost.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to notice the difference there. Can never get them to the exact same size. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but oh well. Yeah, so we should add a I'll just add a smooth cut, 30 frames. Like a really quick smooth cut. It's not going to render very well, all the stuff I'm doing
that
right
it
now,
could
but
improve the experience of many players. Released on December 8th of 2020,
cool. So it
119
just like it morphs a bit.
it was added. A new stage of Skysteel tools became.
All right, you guys want to decide what song we put here? In terms of because I'm just looking at. I try to match the song when I'm doing something that involved an old trailer. I try to match the song with something. Like I'm thinking just biting the bullet and doing the Delubrum Regine theme. The Black Wolf stalks again.
If it should prove that
That could work.
orchestrate events from the shadows. What in the world is that?
I kind of want to do the. I try to match it though with what actually came in with Save the like this, the theme of the trailer.
Why would you want?
And from you.
E12 could work.
Your time draws near. Farewell, servant of light.
I just like that. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I know Emerald came out 5.4, but oh yeah, I had to turn off my mic. I'm thinking just because that's a good idea, but like for that it's a bit intense. But I haven't gotten to use anything in the video quite like the E12 theme. Yeah, I think that's what I'll go with actually. What the fuck? Yeah, okay, cool. This was the one I was hoping for. Alright, we'll set that up on a download then. Oh, I need to close this. Alright. So that's doing its thing downloading. Alright, cool. 2 minutes, allegedly.
Operation began. New Game Plus was expanded. Raid tier, relic grind. But yeah.
And the next one I think I had set to plan just go straight into 5.5 trailer. Yeah, cool. 5. I already know what I want to use for this. I'll try to include a Black Wolf at some point up here. Like, I know I can fit it in the
Released
video
on April
somewhere.
13th of 2021, 126 days after the release of Futures Rewritten, the final patch of Shadowbringers, patch 5.5 Death Unto Dawn, arrived in the game. The patch brought along the new MSQ and its tie-in dungeon, Pagelthan, to close off the Shadowbringers expansion and set up the following expansion, Endwalker. The Sorrow of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series also came to a close, with the Sorrow of War Elite receiving a new trial called the Cloud Deck, which had an extreme version, and Yorha receiving a new alliance raid called the Tower at Paradigm's Breach. The Unreal trial of the patch was the Horror Leader Unreal. To celebrate the completion of the Ishgardian Restoration, special fates known as Firmament Feats began to occur every 2 hours, with many prizes for players to earn by participating.
Alright.
The final custom deliveries of the expansion with a character named Charlemagne was added, and this was the patch that luxury traders were added and PS5 support of the game officially began, and thanks to the new platform, many UI assets saw an increase in resolution. The Resistance Weapon Saga and Save the Queen also came to a close in this patch, with Save the Queen receiving another battlefield known as Zadnor, which in addition to its unique fates and bosses included a 48-man raid called the Dalriada. Like the patch before, Death Unto Dawn did not add anything new of note to the game besides additional content, as the Endwalker expansion was in full development in this period, with FanFest 2021 where the following expansion was elaborated. Note to the game besides additional content, as the Endwalker expansion was in full development.
Why does it cut to black there? Like, I know it's a quick cut, but like that didn't. It's not really necessary. It's like 60 frames. There's no point in that.
As the Endwalker expansion was in full development in this period, with FanFest 2021 where the following...
Maybe there was. Colors are definitely a bit interesting.
As the Endwalker expansion was in full development in this period, with FanFest 2021 where the...
Okay, I have to admit I was wrong on that square.
Was in full development in this period, with FanFest 2021 where the following expansion was elaborated upon occurring between the release of 5.5 and 5.55.
Alright, and thus we reach the end of the trailer. While I await you, I shall reap a sea of souls and gorge myself upon the darkened moon. Alright, so that's Futures Rewritten. Now then, we can expand this all the way to the end of the timeline here. Easy. And fit in the Death Unto Dawn logo right down here. Make sure everything ends at the end there. A second, that is. Alright, so it's definitely too big. Seems a bit big. That should be good. No. Needs to be smaller. Good enough. Good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect at all. We'll let them. 60 frame dissolve.
To talk about in this section. Released on April 3rd.
No point in doing anything more than 30.
13th of 2021, 126 days after the release of Futures Rewritten, the final patch of Shadowbringers, patch 5.5 Death Unto Dawn, arrived in the game. The patch brought along the new MSQ and its tie-in dungeon, Pagelthan, to close off the Shadowbringers expansion and set up the following expansion, Endwalker. The Sorrow of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series also came to a close, with the Sorrow of War Elite receiving a new trial called the...
Is this what I think? Of course it is. It went literally one frame too far. Are you kidding me? A single frame? Like, that's just an insult. That really is just an insult. Alright, so we're good on that front.
But yeah, that's patch 5.4. Not much to talk about in this section. Released on April 13th of 2021, 126 days after the release of Futures Rewritten, the final patch of Shadowbringers, patch 5.5 Death Unto Dawn, arrived in the game. The patch brought along the new MSQ and its tie-in dungeon.
No, I didn't. Why the fuck didn't I do that? Would have been so much smarter to actually do that. That's probably why I didn't do it, actually. Would have been a smart thing to do. Can't have that. Alright, so Eden music. Where do...
The 48-man raid called...
Alright, that's where we want to start. Easy. Have Zelda shut up for a second and just come back here.
Released on December 8th of 2020, 119 days after patch 5.3, patch 5.4 Futures Rewritten was the most plentiful content patch of Shadowbringers in sheer quantity. The patch brought along the new MSQ and its tie-in dungeon, Matoya's Relic, the final raid tier Shadowbringers, and the first one in almost 10 months called Eden's Promise. The Sorrow of War Elite continued with Castrum Meriadanum and its extreme version. The Unreal trial of the patch was switched to the Naval Unreal. More Yorha Dark Apocalypse quests were added. An additional role quest was added, a new role quest and Warring Triad tie-in questline called Void Quest were added, ocean fishing was expanded, gathering collectibles was completely revamped.
crossfade those.
Screens of many players. Released on December 8th of many players. Released on December 8th of 2020, 119 days after patch 5.3, patch 5.4.
Oh, fuck.
Promise. The Sorrow of War Elite continue with Castrum Meriadanum and its extreme version. The Unreal trial of the patch was switched to the Naval Unreal. More Yorha Dark Apocalypse quests were added. An additional role quest was added. A new role quest and Warring Triad tie-in questline called Void Quest were added. Ocean fishing was expanded. Gathering collectibles was completely revamped. The final part of the Ishgardian Restoration began. New Game Plus was expanded. And quite unusually, Monk received a mid-expansion rework that changed the job. A new treasure map called the Shifting Oubliettes of Ligaia was added. A new stage of Skysteel tools became available. Save the Queen received a new instance 48-man raid called Delubrum Regine with a 24-man Savage version. And the next stage of Resistance weapons became available. While not many new things of note were added to the game, it was one hell of a content patch, bringing as much battle content as you could ever hope to be added in a single patch. Between all the new story and side quests, along with the new Savage raid tier, Relic grind, Delubrum Regine Savage prog, Skysteel tool grind, and a continuation of the Ishgardian Restoration, players were given quite a lot to do in this new patch, which was a very nice change of pace compared to 5.3. But yeah, that's patch 5.4.
Well, I guess it's only there because it's in
released
the
on
engine.
April 13th of 20.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be there at all. Just be in engine
Released on
shit.
April 13th of.
Being inside of this software, it doesn't render things in real time. It slugs behind it on transitions of any kind or jump cuts.
Gathering collectibles was completely revamped.
Just switching
the final part of
files
the
it's
Ishgardian
drawing
Restoration began. New Game Plus was accessible. Save the Queen received one hell of a content patch, bringing frog, Skysteel tool grinded and continued.
Is that thing done downloading yet? No, allegedly a minute left. Alright, then I may as well just take notes on the other timelines that I have set up. Alright. So I didn't add anything of sorts in there. Oh yeah, the one part that has Asmongold in it. Yeah, that's a part of the video. This video covers fucking everything. I'm not even gonna lie at this point, it really does.
Her small FC organized a funeral procession of
Yeah.
games developed. Be remembered.
Player vigils.
Those two battlefields, there was also three
Save the Queen.
described as a complete abandonment of new systems such as shared fate levels and the trust system. No allied beast tribe quest line for the upon is the beginning of the end, where Square Enix once again grew greedy and complacent, and the players failed to call them out on it, and high queues were rampant. This, of course, caused in its largest part by the popular WoW stream. The funeral procession of sorts has been great. The OST brings it up to the level of a masterpiece. Adore everything to do with the narrative of Shadowbringers, and when I tried to poll my community for things they liked about the... So starting off, every expansion that an MMO receives always leaves behind a lasting legacy to its player base, and if successful enough, then to the MMO genre or entire gaming industry as a whole. Unlike normal DLC or other types of expansions for the rest of the industry, expansions in MMOs change the game that receives them for likely the rest of their official support, and define their respective eras where they are the newest content in the game. Because of that, along with the nature of MMOs to be things before finishing off with a look at the legacy the expansion will leave behind, where it will be.
Oh yeah, I think that this is cheeky.
I wanted to chronicle
here at the end.
Sit down to write this script that this video.
But I changed the ending card a bit by adding
my name is
something
Lakaitem, and thank you for
for
joining
the
me
actual
to take a
video.
look at the life and what will be the legacy of Final Fantasy XIV's third expansion.
The text I added above it actually blends in really well. Like, the transition to get it in there, not as much, because just a slow fade in, because that's about all I can do. But I think that it actually looks pretty legit.
One. So, without further ado, my name is Lakaitem, and thank you for joining me as we take a look at the life and what will be the legacy of Final Fantasy XIV's third expansion, Shadowbringers. So starting off, let's talk about what exactly the expansion will be remembered for, both the good and...
Alright, so that's 142 is what it will be remembered for a moment. And then at what will it at 1828. Monsters of a Fate. And then, okay, so 1828. will be the content rollouts, and then adding an extra note here because I need to. For reason. Oh shit. Okay, so that's done now. We can bring this in then. Oops. Right, bring in the diamond weapon theme. And we'll situate that in a second over the timeline. Alright, so diamond weapon theme's right there. So we'll make a little section down here for cards. So 1828 plus, so 1840, 27, 40 will be the Ishgardian restoration video. Is the card I'll link there to hopefully get some more views on that one. It's been a long ass time since that video was anywhere near. Ah, fuck.
Anything new of note to the game is Zadnor, which is receiving another battlefield known as Zad.
Oh, fuck. Definitely don't want it at 145 decibels. I'll have to snap that in better. There we go. Let's try negative 30.
Instead of the following expansion, Endwalker. The Tsar of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series also came to a close with the Tsar expansion, Endwalker. The Tsar of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series also came to a close with the Tsar of War Elite receiving a new Tsar of War Elite and Yorha Endwalker. The Tsar of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series, Endwalker. The Tsar of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series also came to a close with the Tsar of War Elite receiving a new trial.
Something very loud. Yeah, that's how these kinds of streams go.
Dark Apocalypse. Walker. The Tsar of War Elite and Yorha Dark Apocalypse series also came to a close with the Tsar of War Elite receiving a new trial called the Cloud Deck, which had an extreme version, and Yorha receiving a new alliance raid called the Tower at Paradigm's Breach. A character named Charlemagne was added, and this was the any UI asset saw an increase in resolution. The Resistance Weapon Saga officially began. Traders.
Right, I think I want to bring this back a bit. Oh fuck.
Version, and Yorha receiving a new alliance raid called the Tower at Paradigm's Breach. The Unreal trial of the patch was the Horror Leader Unreal. To celebrate the completion of the Ishgardian restoration, special fates known as Firmament Feats began to occur every 2 hours with many prizes for players to earn by participating. The final custom deliveries of the expansion with a character named Charlemagne was added, and this was the patch that luxury traders were added and PS5 support of the game officially began, and thanks to the new platform, many UI assets saw an increase in resolution. The Resistance Weapon Saga and Save the Queen also came to a close in this
I still
patch,
remember on that Alizé
scene.
Battlefield
known
I
as
was so
out on the roughly 60%, we have an
mad because I thought she was going to die in a patch.
Players.
I'm like, no.
That is an estimated increase of just under 12,000 average concurrent players in just 4 months. Skip forward a few more months to August of 2020 and the pandemic peak for FF14, where there was an average concurrent Steam player count of just under 20,500. And add on the 60%, and we are left with a whopping 32,798 average concurrent players across all platforms. That is in a 4-month period since April 2020, numbers seeing a further increase of approximately 5,463 average concurrent players. To sum it all up, thanks to the pandemic, the game's player count increased by an estimated value of over 111%, which is around 23,105 players. Numbers don't lie, and even if just looking at the Steam averages, the numbers are Skip forward a few more months to August of 2020 and the pandemic peak. That is in a 4-month period since April.
Like, this is all just there's Yoshi P's statement.
November of 2019 when the first COVID-19
and then goes straight into graphs.
The game skip forward a few more months to August of 2020.
If you like statistics, you're going to like this part of the video.
That is in a 4-month period since April. Sum it all up.
To graph,
thanks to the pandemic, the game
and then another graph.
The most recent
and then you know what we finish it off with?
This is in a period that would be right before an expansion.
All these together today, but this is insane. Like, just looking at this is the pandemic growth of the game from December of 2019 to now. The blue line is the Steam only, that is confirmed data, and the red line is estimation of total player base. But that's insane. A peak of 64k. This right here, gentlemen, this is the Asmongold effect. 64 fucking thousand
like, even without it, and we just look at the graph of confirmed Steam data, like, this was the pandemic high for the game. August of 2020. Double the average concurrent players once Asmon and the other streamers move it over. Which is absolutely ludicrous, but it is the reality that we live in. Expansion's halfway point in its life cycle. Game Plus and the developers went back to revamp the ARR experience to shorten it. Community Finder began new game. But yeah, that's... Alright, so we'll add a crossfade here. Patch 5.4. Not much to talk about in this section. Released on April 13th of 2021, 126 days after the release of Futures Rewritten, the final patch of Shadowbringers, patch 5.5 Death Unto Dawn, arrived in the game. The patch wasn't anything new of note to the game besides additional content, as the Endwalker expansion 5.5. Alright, so that goes all at the same place, so I want a 2-second crossfade, please. Thank you. Alright. 21, where the following expansion was elaborated upon, occurring between the release of 5.5 and 5.55. Then we get to the most rewarding section of a video for me. Getting to put that giant section onto the section that is the amalgamation of all the other giant... Spurg invasion. We've dealt with the Spurg invasion, and now the game prepares itself for the Simp invasion. Helone, help us. I touched on it briefly in the previous section, but let's take a look at the actual content rollout across the 2.5 years that was the Shadowbringers expansion of 2019, before being should have been great, repeatable, more rewards would be unlocked. Lack of proper incentive. About shared fates. Continuing. During Shadowbringers, the race was gender locked, inverse of the
Rothgar section.
Expansions. Reportedly due to the strikingly different designs of their character models compared to the rest of the races within Final Fantasy XIV, all of which were largely modified versions of the basic human race known as Hyur. This problem persisted across the entire
expansion. This is technically okay
because
this is Shadowbringers gameplay. It just happens to be in a Heaven's Word dungeon. This was largely seen as one of the largest ongoing issues within the game during this era. I want to include
then
some
there was a major
footage.
gameplay system that came with Shadowbringers, that being the Trust System. The Trust System is basically a much smarter version of Grand Company squadrons and dungeons. You get to choose from the core characters within the MSQ to run the dungeons throughout the story, with your first run of the dungeon always having them all available at the required level. They definitely are not the most efficient way to clear a dungeon, but overall they are literally the most mediocre party members you could ever hope for, and you get all of the loot. So running dungeons with Trust is a pretty good option for loot goblins, as you really aren't losing all that much time on average on the leveling dungeons of Shadowbringers.
Yeah.
After running a dungeon for the first time, you can indeed myself who can now easily gather footage of moments and cutscenes not viewable through the unending journey item present in every
I just wanted a
It is also a great change for any player
like
who
I
may
could have
choose
put
to buy a
any
story
song
skip to
in this
reach
section.
endgame
I
faster,
knew, like,
allowing
I'm
them
putting
to take
weight
on
of
the
the
MSQ
world.
they skipped at their own pace without interfering with any desire to
Like, there was no way I wasn't putting the
content.
weight of the world.
While the addition of New Game Plus was a very important and impactful addition to the game, let's look at an addition that was not. That feature being Fellowships. Fellowships were aimed to be a more casual and less involved kind of message board would have been. That being the Ishgardian Restoration. The Ishgardian Restoration was an in-game event in Final Fantasy XIV that began with the launch of patch 5.1 and came to a finish with the release of patch 5.5 about a year and a half later. The event saw players descend into the firmament, a district of Ishgard that had been largely destroyed during the Dragonsong War, with the goal of restoring it to and beyond its former glory. Over the course of each patch, the area would be built up more and more as players gathered specific materials from a large rework. No significant.
So as it stands right now,
upon its initial release, these and their
45 minutes 32 seconds as it stands right now. What I have left to do is the outro, is the major changes section, the legacy section, the content section, and the outro. The outro's done. I may as well just do this right now so I can feel complete about myself. Like, I shot this in like 5 minutes because I did not want... I just finished writing a script for 10 hours. So I look like shit in this, but I don't care. I don't want to refilm it.
So I've been working on this video in one stage or another for like a month now, and it originated...
I can't be bothered to refilm this.
A separate project, which then this became bigger...
I look like shit, and I'm literally filming on the inside... Like the front,
Not the front facing, like the... Yes, that is me. Like, not the proper camera. I'm using, like, the shittier inside camera that you look at when you look at the screen, like you'd use for a FaceTime. I set up on a little tripod, and I could not be bothered to re-record it.
Into multiple episodes because views and stuff. On another video,
I had been up for more than 20 hours on this day because I had been I had been writing this video for like 10 hours before I did this. So it looked like shit. I just went, okay, I don't want to have to worry about footage. I'm just going to put myself on camera because I don't want to have like 2 minutes of just staring at my character. Like, I don't... Yeah. I just didn't want to do that.
That's gonna apply to...
I think I'm gonna put the, just gonna figure out some music to put behind this and then it's done. Yeah, the Shadowbringers intro theme will go over the outro. So this is also a face reveal video. I mean, I've never really cared. Like, whether people see my face or not, I don't give a shit. Like, it's a matter of me just not having a camera. But this is me just saying, F it, I don't care anymore. I mean, I'm going to be on a video for when I open the Endwalker Collector's Box thing. So, you know what? May as well put something at the end of a video. Nice guitar. Thank you. It's sitting right next to me. Here. It is not in tune at all. It is not hooked up to an amp. And I will play the easiest chord, E minor. As you can hear, it needs to be tuned. It really needs to be tuned. Like, a guitar this should not be the sound of an E minor. A D doesn't sound any good either. Like, it's just... That hurt me? Yeah, it needs to be tuned. I haven't bothered, though. It's been, like, a year of it out of tune, and I just don't care. Like, I legitimately just don't care. At this point, it's more decor than anything. It's, here, let me... I'll take a photo of the guitar, since DL seems to be interested in it. It's like some old-ass, it's like a starter guitar. It definitely is. Here, let me send this. Galactic, I'm putting this in our thread so I can easily show it off without having to fucking Google Doc this shit. There we go. Do not pay attention to that DM. It's literally just the photo. Yeah, so this is the guitar. It's a relatively nice guitar. I mean, it's a guitar. My classical guitar needs to be fixed up. I got that as a thing when I moved away from the States. A gift from one of the neighbors. Good for you, Galactic. I'm glad you found something to about. DMs have been leaked.
That should be out as soon as it's done.
That should be out.
Expansion. That should be out as soon as it's done, but as of now, I don't have a timeline for when that is actually going to be. So
I don't look that bad. It's just I don't look that bad. It's just a fucking awful camera.
For me, comment telling me what you think the legacy of the expansion will be, or just what your favorite.
This is honestly my favorite joke in the video.
And if you don't want to do either of those, please just leave a comment, like just typing some random gibberish. Views have been absolute shit the past few months, and I need to afford my Endwalker Collector's Edition.
That's my views graph, boys. It's not good. It's not good. That camera looks fine to me. Yeah, it might just be the lighting. Because looking at this closer. Like, this hurts me. Like, this has been causing me so much stress. I peaked. And it's all downhill, boys. You do have the YouTube face. Is there such thing as a YouTube face?
I think the legacy of the expansion will be, or just what your favorite moments of the expansion were. And if you don't want to do either of those,
just an average-looking teenager.
Just typing some.
And even saying average might be giving myself a bit too much credit.
Shit, the past few months, and I need to afford my Endwalker Collector's
Edition somehow. Thank you. All right, I'm actually done now. I should just cut the video there. I think that'd be funnier. What do you guys think? Do I keep this little thing at the end of like, thank you? All right, I'm actually done now. This video is long and nothing more to say. So, as always, my name's Lakaitem. Thank you so much for watching. Like an actual proper outro? Have a great day. Or just cut it at the zoom in. Somehow. Leave a comment, I want money. Alright, I'm actually done now. I don't know. So that's almost downloaded now. We should just end there. Yeah. Anyways, my name's Lakaitem as is, and I don't have anything more to say. This video is long as is. Yeah, that would be good. I'm actually done now. Somehow. Thank you. Just me looking away from the camera, just contemplating life decisions. What did I do to deserve this fate? How did I end up making this video? It's been like 100 hours of work. What the hell have I done to myself? Alright, we'll go with that. Let's see if I put the insert in here. From this, cut straight into outro. Walker Collector's Edition somehow. Thank you. Views have been absolute shit the past few months, and I need to afford my Endwalker Collector's Edition somehow. Thank you. Oh, that's good. That's actually funny. It's like the stupidest joke ever, but funny enough to make me laugh. To be fair, though, that's not a very high bar to cross. To be completely fair. The funny thing is, I've literally now revealed all the important information about myself on Twitch alone. Like, I've doxed my first and last name a million different times. One thing I didn't show is my face, and well, here it is, boys. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable to look at. Jesus fuck. Alright, God, I have this horrible habit of moving my hands so much when I talk. Then this became bigger than that, so it blossomed off, and I was thinking, you know, this is gonna be like half an hour max, and then it blossomed into this hour-and-a-half nightmare to make. Why do I do this to myself? But anyway, thank you so much for watching this thing all the way through to the end. I really do appreciate it. I really do love gaming history and like finding games that you can no longer play anymore and exploring the history around them. And MMOs, they're a dime a dozen. And as scary as it is to say, in a couple of weeks, that's gonna apply to Shadowbringers. Primarily, this was for my episodes because I'm working on another video like that. That's kind of my own personal story with the expansion. That should be out as soon as it's done. I want to get a better mic. I just hear all the little imperfections in the audio, and I hate it. So yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, just add a little crossfade. Yeah, this views have been absolute shit the past few months, and I need to afford my Endwalker Collector's Edition somehow. Thank you. Well, that's the outro. Quick and dirty. I don't know why I chose to do this. So I've been working on this video in one, especially when it took like a million different takes to actually fuck, that was a waste of time. Recording will be drawing to a close in a couple of weeks. Alright, now then, let's actually move on to the next section of this video to edit. That's actually going to take work. Alright, so... diamonds. Alright, cool. So, the major changes section is the next one, right? I think it is. Okay. Audio assets, major changes.
Yeah, this looks fine to me. It's fine. Alright, so shot list was starting off on I can close all these average graphs now. Alright, so I've credited all of these. I don't need to look at that for a while. Yeah, Raktika. Okay. This is the Raktika part.
Let's back in the important changes of note, including things from...
I'm curious. Oh, nothing. That's surprising.
Replace the individual job quests lines with something new. Role quest.
Yeah, it's just me moving around in my chair.
With that, we reach the end of the content rollout section of this video, which also...
Yoink. Alright, Shadowbringer saw major removals. Okay.
included all of the major additions that came with the expansion. But on the flip side to major additions is removals, but aside from certain skills on different jobs and came with the expansion. But on the flip side to major additions
It's in my primal.
is removals,
Oh, no.
but aside from certain skills on different jobs and other things you would expect from the expansion, Shadowbringers saw no major removals of content. However, Shadowbringers did bring with it a whole slew of changes for the game going forward from that point, and the era likely saw the greatest amount of changes since the revamp of the game from 1.0 to 2 removals of content. Aside from certain skills on jobs and other things you would expect from the expansion, Shadowbringers saw no major removals of content.
Alright, let's zoom in here.
Shadowbringers saw no major removals of content. However, Shadowbringers did bring with it a whole slew of changes for the game going forward from that point, and the era likely saw the greatest amount of changes since the revamp of the game from 1.0 to 2 the expansion. Shadowbringers changes for the game going forward from that point, and the era likely saw the greatest amount of changes since the revamp of the game from 1.0 to 2.0 back in the early 2010s, doubling down on the changes that began in Stormblood as well as making many other high-profile changes of its own. In this section of the video, we will be going over the most profile changes of its own.
Alright. Yeah, what'd you do to your primal alts? I'm scared. What did you do, Galactic? Surely nothing bad. Surely you did not hurt the, Surely you did not hurt your primal alt in any way. Did you finish Shadowbringers? You should do that.
In this section of the video, we will be going over the most important changes of note, including things from the
And help me
high-profile
farm Emerald.
revamps to smaller non-battle gameplay systems throughout the expansion, before ending off on just a few cool little changes that changed the way some side stuff worked. Alright, let's start off with quite a big change to the whole changes of stuff worked.
So what was the first thing I want to do? Job. Okay, job quest cutscene. Ah, fuck. That's not what I want to do.
In this section of the video, we will be going over the most important changes of note, including things from the high-profile important changes of note.
Right, so let's change the zoom. We'll only zoom in a bit here.
Changes that changed the way some side stuff worked. Just a few cool little changes that changed the way some...
Yeah, we'll stop. Kind of an awkward place to stop it, but whatever. So.
Most important changes of note.
Yeah, there's what I'm looking for. There we are. Alright, so now I just need to find the other one.
Some side...
Come on, give me the red dot. There we go. Cool.
as well as making many other high-profile changes of its own. In this section of the video, we will be going over the most important changes of note, including things from the high-profile revamps to smaller non-battle gameplay systems throughout the expansion, before ending off on just a few cool little changes that changed the way some side stuff worked. Alright, let's start off with quite a big
Alright, so the job quest cutscenes. Alright, so throw those down there.
It's either going to be Gordon Ramsay in the background of this, or Trash Taste, which will be
New. Role quests.
Role quests are quest lines that replace... Wait, what is in the background?
Solid kick, but Seer's not able to.
Oh. It's an OTK video. I was like, wait, what? I heard Asmon's voice, but what the fuck was I watching? It all blurs together after a while.
Alright, let's start off with quite a big change to the whole leveling process, or at least something adjacent to it. So throughout 1.0 all the way through Stormblood, which is a period of 9 years, as you leveled up each job in Final Fantasy XIV, you would unlock more and more quests within a quest line that is unique to the job you were leveling. These were job quests.
Wait, how long is this section? I think it's like 15 minutes? 17 max, if I remember. 13. Okay, cool. So that won't take too long then. I mean, there's a bit of
let's start off with
overlays
quite
I
a big
planned for
change to the
this.
whole leveling process, or at least something adjacent to it. So throughout 1.0 all the way through Stormblood, which is a period of 9 years, these were job quests. Each job received them and would have a new quest lines with something new. Role quests. Role quests are quest lines that replace job quests in their function, but instead of each job having their own, it would be each role that has their own respective quest line that would be played by all jobs in that role. In the context of to be largely dead, with most of the pop hearing with each other. Additionally, each role that are normally in job quests going on simultaneously without interfering with each other. Additionally, each role quest in Shadowbringers tackles the story of a different one of Ardbert's traveling companions. And it makes sense why the quest lines would be as vague as tank, healer, physical DPS, and magical DPS. However, this change was announced to be permanent going forward, with the only individual job quest be as vague as tank, or physical DPS. However, this
It's so...
jobs in Final Fantasy XIV compared to the 10
Yeah, that'll be fine. Has a bit of a fade to black on its own.
companions. And it makes sense why the quest lines would be as vague as tank, healer, physical DPS, and magical DPS. However, this change was announced to be permanent going forward, with the only individual job quests being as they were in Shadowbringers, little one-off max level side quests after the expansion MSQ. But why did they choose to make this change? Well, it's for a pretty decent reason. With the addition of Gunbreaker and Dancer, there were a total of 17 different jobs in Final Fantasy XIV, compared to the 10 at the launch of A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
At this point in the game's history, dedicating enough resources for 17 full quest lines each expansion that could only be played by a single job and would require their own cutscenes, solo duties, and individual...
There's 17 jobs, right? I didn't misrecord that. Fuck. Wait, is counting Blue Mage? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 17 plus Blue Mage. Fuck off. Blue Mage doesn't count.
full quest lines each expansion that could only be played by a single job and would require their own cutscenes, solo duties, and individual stories along with other back-end resources, it just wasn't feasible or worthy of the time it would take to put them all together anymore. Not to mention, in the past, job quests were never created equal. They were all of extremely variable quality, with some being amazing.
There's also DOH quests. They just all got gentrified into one thing. Who cares, though? It's DOL.
Amazing and other being complete snooze fests. They could never hope to make all of them great pieces of storytelling with interesting solo duties, unique premises, and cinematic cutscenes. You had something like Dark Knight.
Hildebrand is a class shit. What is it? Is it the, is it like the chivalry quest line? The chivalry class? The, butler class? I don't fucking know.
Detective, Inspector Extraordinaire class. The base class is Inspector, and then the next one is Inspector Extraordinaire. Is that your idea, Dale? Am I on to your way of thinking? Tell me.
Luckily, I only have one class tomorrow, so I'll be pretty much
done this by tomorrow evening, and I can just do
known
other
for
stuff in game.
being great. And then you had something like the Paladin quests that were just boring, meaningless, and directionless. By switching to simply making
You can say that again, me.
duties, you never hope to make quality there anymore.
Those quests fucking suck. I heavily agree with what I said.
To improve the game over. It was a disappointing change because it meant less story content and kinda shutting off the good job quest lines, but sometimes sacrifices have to be made to improve the game overall, and this was one such sacrifice. Alright, so let's get into what was probably the most drastic game was one such sacrifice.
Alright. Is there any cut that involves just talking with L2? No. Numu, whatever the fuck they're called. Alright, so that's the job quest that's the job quest part of the video. We'll add a bit of text there. So on number 3 we should be able to put the border without too much of an issue. That you get free stuff like per expansion, excluding Shadowbringers, just like the TOH deal. I hate that I can't argue with that logic.
However, this change was announced to be permanent going forward, with that replaced.
It literally hurts me not to be able to argue with that. Alright, so what do we go with next? Is the question for music. Something that preferably fits the job quests, you know, so not Black Wolf. Something from Shadowbringers that fits, do I just do Hades Part 2? In the dark of the night we find light again. Yeah, that could work. I want to use it, so like that's one piece I specifically want to use. So let's take a look at the rest of the soundtrack though. So flipping through this, not the antagonist theme. I already used Insatiable. I didn't get to use High Treason yet. Oh. Yep, High Treason. As much as I like Hades, High Treason. It's hard to beat. If you're up against High Treason, you're probably gonna lose. Alright, so what do I plan for the next bit? Tank dungeon footage with overlays. Okay, so is there? No! Did I not run a single fucking... But I left it sealed? Why? Fuck was the point of that? Is there anywhere in this that I did an expert dungeon, or is it all Dark Knight? It's all Dark Knight. How long is the tanking section?
Look at the Paladin sword phase. You made that made it so the tank would not receive critical hits in a certain time frame. Flash. Why? What was the point of this? You literally just removed parry rate from all the other tanks. The new addition was Arm's Length, which was an ability that helped players nullify both a main and off detriment to the party. It's got similar treatment to make them all viable and...
Alright, this is what I do when I don't have footage nowadays. If I know I have it somewhere,
I dip into the archive that is other old videos. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it was in the YouTube originals, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, here we go.
So, it's been like a month since I uploaded, and none of the videos I'm not trying to record, just reading out a giant script. But yeah, let's get it. Is the standard. This guy had been doing it with his nice, who actually gives a shit. The parses an experience I don't think I'll ever forget in the game. Minions are nothing special. That kind of fun and that kind of so. This Dragoon who are there saying congrats to who.
That works. Alright, so now I just do the old copy paste. Rename it to tanking footage. Once it's renamed to tanking footage, I just drag it onto this timeline. And just like that, I can't literally talk about Paladin in this, but it's just gonna be like, there's no Paladin gameplay. Because all the stuff I've been doing recently has not been on Paladin at all. It's all been on Gunbreaker. Paladin main, by the way. Alright, so when do I talk about the healing changes? Because then I'll just push healing Levi.
However, unlike the tank
Alright,
system, it wasn't just tanks that saw a major overhaul. Healers got similar treatment to Goblins with the stance system.
Yeah, stance dancing. I know I have something on the older timeline. Where is it? Was an intro? No, it was in what it will be remembered for. Cool. Tank Roll Quest is the best Paladin story. Changed my mind. Honestly, yeah, it is. That's just factual. Because the rest of it is bad. Like, you're not going to get me on that one. You're really not. Like, it is by far and away the best story that Paladin can take part in. As sad as that is. So, we'll change this to roll quests. Take it down a couple sizes. 120. I got the font that they used for Shadowbringers, Jupiter Pro, roughly.
With quite a big change to the whole leveling process, or at least something adjacent to it. So throughout 1.0 all the way through Stormblood, which has appeared throughout 1.0, it changed the way some side stuff worked. Alright, let's start off with quite a big change to the whole leveling process, or at least something adjacent to it.
We'll put it up
so throughout
for,
1.0 all the way through Stormblood, which is a period of 9 years, as you leveled up each job and found...
Shit. We'll make this 10 seconds. 10 minutes.
Years, as you leveled up each job.
Fuck it. Okay. Cool, that's done. So we'll change this to tanking footage, and then we'll put this on the timeline. Not in timeline, but we'll put it in video assets. And then we'll drag it onto the timeline here. I get to make fun of Gunbreaker having camouflage, so that's like half the reason I included. Well, it was too big not to include, but
and keeping them focused on trying to
I
kill
just
the
like
tank. Since keeping aggro
I
is
just
such
like
a big
to make
deal,
fun
tanks
of
have more abilities for keeping aggro and keeping themselves alive.
I just like to make fun of fucking Gunbreaker's camouflage.
Hey, wait, how's it going? Do you guys know if camouflage is getting vaulted? Like, is it getting thrown out of the game? Because it's stupid. Like, camouflage existing in the game is stupid. Alright, so let's get into what was probably the most drastic gameplay change they made in...
Oh, fuck. I don't think so. God damn it. In case you can't tell, I really want a Gond. No other class has an ability to to mitigate the amount of parry rate it has anymore. So just get rid of it on Gunbreaker 2. I'm glad I didn't have to ever deal with TP. TP isn't a big deal.
Overall, and
It depended on the class.
Sacrifice.
Alright, so let's get into what was probably the most drastic gameplay change they made in Shadowbringers, which was the complete rework and overhaul of tanking. Before Shadowbringers, tanking was completely different, and those old systems are what built such a stigma and sometimes a fear of tanking within the player base. Before Shadowbringers, tanks had two different stances, a tank stance and a DPS stance. The tank stance increased enmity generation and health at the price of lower damage, and DPS stance was basically the inverse with lower enmity generation and health but higher damage. A major part of tanking before Shadowbringers was alternating between these two stances, though their importance changed from expansion to expansion and class to class due to the tanks all having... Like, with TP, if you're a monk with a speed boost... Oh boy, you didn't have any of that shit left. Far more diverse
It regenerated
utility
fast, so it
before
really wasn't that
Shadowbringers.
big of a deal.
Additionally, tanks had both damage and enmity combos, with damage, of course,
It was
being
more of
for
a
killing
fun
things,
barrier.
and enmity for grabbing the attention of all enemies and keeping them focused on trying to kill the tank. Since keeping aggro was such a big deal, tanks had more abilities for keeping aggro and keeping themselves alive. That is a very basic and generalized look at tanking before Shadowbringers, and if you want to learn more about tanking expansion by expansion, search up some old guides. As for tanking and keeping themselves alive, that is a very basic themselves alive.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not teaching you how to tank in Stormblood. That's gone for a reason.
That is a very basic. Shadowbringers, well, it quickly became apparent that it was far easier with some old guides.
Alright, so we'll do the good old 2x zoom in. And make this part black and white.
Keeping aggro and keeping themselves alive. That is a very basic and generalized look at tanking before Shadowbringers, and if you want to learn more about tanking expansion by expansion, search up some old guides. As for
I'm probably
tanking
gonna make-
Shadowbringers,
That's a lie. I'm probably gonna make a video at some point, just the evolution of tanking in FF14, and just go over tanking in every single expansion, just do a whole bunch of
well, it
research.
quickly became apparent that it was
Could be
far easier
interesting.
than it had ever been. DPS stances were removed entirely, as well as aggro combos, and the vast majority of tanking role actions, which had only just become a thing in Stormblood. Tank stance was completely reworked to no longer boost health or reduce damage. Instead, it was simplified to where if you were...
The vast majority. They got rid of 4 out of 10. Hopefully no one catches that.
tanking, you simply turned on tank stance and your enmity generation would be buffed far beyond what old tank stance gave you, making it virtually impossible to lose aggro. Tanks went from stance dancing to simply toggling on whether they wanted to be hit by enemies or not, which was quite the controversial change. Enmity combo abilities were either removed or simply made into sheer damage abilities. For example, Goring Blade in Stormblood was Paladin's enmity combo finisher that applied a dot. In Shadowbringers, Goring Blade was simply a finisher on one path of the Paladin's sword phase. You made sure it was on the enemy, but as long as it wasn't about to run out, you went for the higher potency path of Royal Authority and Atonement. Similar to Stormblood, but with some key differences. But while many enmity abilities survived the change in a different form, role actions didn't fare so well. In Stormblood, when role actions were a new thing, tanks had 10, 4 of which never made to Shadowbringers, while the remainder largely saw reworks with the addition of one new guy. So let's take a moment to honor the fallen tanking role actions. Awareness actions.
Awareness. Oh boy. Oh shit, the high treason download's done. We'll do that in a second, then I'll just drag this in here. Actually, I should probably just do that now. I'll add a little marker here. We can come back to that. Nope, wrong thing. Alright. Oh, fuck. That is the wrong button. My bad. Don't know why I even hit that. Alright, so we'll put high treason here. And we'll put Black Wolf for the tanking changes.
Function, but instead of each job having their own, it would be each role that has their own respective quest line that would be played by all jobs in that role. In the context of Shadowbringers, this change made perfect sense, as since the player is in a different world that just so happens to be largely dead with most of the populace shut within cities, there is a far lower chance of all these different stories that are normally... However, Shadowbringers did bring with it a whole slew... But on the flip side, it made... With that, we reached the end of the content rollout section of this video, which also included all of the major additions. With that, we reached the end of the content rollout section of this video, which also included all of the other high-profile changes of systems throughout the expansion. To be largely dead with most of the populace shut within cities, there is a far lower chance of all these different stories that are normally in job quests going on simultaneously without interfering with each other. Additionally, each role quest in Shadowbringers tackles the story of a different one of that can only be played by a single job and would require their own cutscenes, solo duties, and... Alright, so let's get into what...
Alright, so let me, This is gonna be very quick, so... Awareness... Cool. Awareness FF14, see if I can grab the little... Gib. It's not gonna do me much good. Nullifies chance of suffering critical damage. I kind of want to add a... Should I make little things that have all the information on them? Actually, you know what would be smarter? Yoink! Screenshot it. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That way I can just get this whole information up. Okay, so... Screenshots... Alright, so I'm going to turn back on the Zelda music. Alright, so back into editing. I'll move this over here so you guys can actually see. Alright, so... Ala yoink. Thank you, Gamer Escape. Making my life easier. Much appreciated. There we go. This is now the awareness thing. Don't ask why it's yellowy. I couldn't begin to answer.
And those old systems are what built such a stigma and sometimes a fear of tanking within the player base. Before Shadowbringers, tanks had two different stances. That is a very basic awareness, an ability that...
Hey Loki, why is it yellow? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shush.
Awareness, an ability that made it so the tank would not...
Wait, oh. Okay, I see why now, because it's literally just... Done. Loki do fume. Oh my.
Awareness, an ability that made it so the tank would not receive critical hits in a certain time frame. Convalescence. Receive critical hits in a certain time. Actions. Awareness, an ability that made it so the tank would not receive critical hits in a certain time frame. Convalescence, an ability that would restore 20% of your
So
total
mean to
health.
your viewers.
Ultimatum, an AoE... Alright, I need to get convalescence now. Awareness. Awareness. Imagine if we had this. Imagine if this was still in the tanking toolkit. Like, look how nice this is. Ugh. It's fine now. It just goes yellowy for a couple seconds. Fucking hell. There's nothing quite like this being scuffed as shit. Alright. Tell me more. Tell me more, Mr. Strimmer. Convalescence. Convalescence. Can we get an F in the chat for all of the fallen abilities that never made it past Stormblood because they were cast to the wayside by the oh so benevolent Yoshida? Yoshida said no.
Actions.
Awareness. An ability that made it so the tank would not
Thank
receive
you.
critical hits in a certain time frame. Convalescence. An ability that would restore 20... I'm gonna drag this border all the way over to here now. Ever need some different songs? Try out the Etrian audio series. Yeah, for this I'm using all Shadowbringers music. I'd probably fall back on Xenoblade if not, but I appreciate it though. Percent of your total health. Ultimatum. An ability that would restore 20% of your total health. Ultimatum of your total health. That description is slightly wrong, but oh well, who cares? I didn't play that. Ask Larry Zor. Awareness. An ability that made... Nah, I'm gonna put it on smooth, actually. It's like, I didn't play that shit then. Ask Larry Zor. Not my problem. So the tank would not receive critical hits in a certain time frame. Convalescence. An ability that would restore 20% of your total health. Ultimatum. I wish you wanna... I don't really care about the others, but do you want what I wish we still had? Ultimatum. A 5 Yalm. AoE provoke. Why'd you have to remove this Yoshi P? Like, did you really need to get rid of this one? You're here to analyze, not analyze correctly. Indeed. Listen, I gave you the tooltip. And technically, I'm not fully wrong. That's what matters here. You don't have to be fully right. You just have to not be fully wrong. Look item 2021. An F in the chat for ultimatum. An amazing ability that was never truly given a chance before it was vaulted by the oh so benevolent Yoshida. Wait, this got introduced in 4.0. Yeah, it never got a chance. They got rid of it like 2 years after they first introduced it. Just went, nope. Get out of here. Get that shit out of here. What have you done, Yoshi B? Why must we suffer so? Ultimatum. An AoE version of Provoke. Come on, Square. What? Ultimatum. I even included the Why? Why'd you have to remove this one, Square? Like, couldn't you have just left this one? It's for the stupid straggler range enemy. Yeah, I saw Galactic. Here, I'll show everyone in chat since you like it. Ground. DMs leaked again. An AoE version of Provoke. Come on, Square. Why'd you have to remove this? And then there was Anticipation. Ever since I learned that that Ultimatum was a thing, I've been mad that it's no longer a thing. Come on, Square. What? AoE version of Provoke. Come on, Square. Why'd you have to remove this? And then there was Anticipation. Fallen tanking roll actions. Awareness. An ability that made it so the tank would not receive critical hits in a certain time frame. Convalescence. An ability that would restore 20% of your total health. Ultimatum. An AoE version of Provoke. Come on, Square. Why'd you have to remove this? And then there was Anticipation. An ability that would increase your parry rate. But you guys will see this once I get it up. Increases parry rate by 30%. This is literally camouflage. Like, this is just camouflage. I wish I had all these. Yeah, all the vaulted roll actions. Imagine how nice they would be for your kit. Ugh. Something going wrong? You're having a rough time? You need to quickly you're getting everyone around you is getting things taken away from you. Ultimatum solves the problem. You give the party an ultimatum. Give me the aggro or fuck off. That is your ultimatum. Your hero is finally getting around to healing you, and you're gonna die if they don't continue? Convalescence. 20% extra heals. And then awareness. You don't want to get a critical hit. Deluge of darkness or whatever it's called coming in. No. Awareness. It's not gonna crit. I want a reverse shirk. A reverse shirk is Provoke. Like, Provoke is reverse shirk. I'm gonna cut to our next boss fight here, actually. One specific person's aggro. The other tank's trying to get aggro. Nope. 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 You evoke it, they evoke back, then you reverse shirk them.
If the ability wasn't called Nope, then I'd be sad. You want to be the tank, Mr. Red Mage? No. No, that's my job. Yoink. Or yoink. Rescue should be renamed to Yoink. Tell me I'm wrong. Why rescue someone you can just yoink? I don't know why File Explorer won't open my fucking files. Like, come on, File Explorer. It's not that hard to open a file. You're right. Good. But yeah, where is it? Because Dark Knight used to have a DPS stance too. Maybe it's a good time. Maybe it's good sometimes that only Grit is still in the game. Ask the healer. That doesn't even make sense. I'm in Skype with her. You need to use your defensive cooldowns. Dark Knight comes with a plethora of them. He was not healing me. Please, use them. She was healing you. You are so squishy. And I was going to use Benediction, but you, sir, were dead. You are quite squishy for this dungeon, actually. I got Ben in ASMR channel. What did you do? You have Shadowskin, Shadow Wall, Foresight. Oh, yeah, Shadowskin. That's gone. Reduces damage taken by 15%. You got another one. Dark Knight got it at level 2. That's just fucking weird, Leo. You don't just ask another human being to fart. Oh yeah, Dark Dance, Dark Mind. Use them. Stup it. And use Grit. It helps a lot. No, 20% damage down. It is tank stance. Doesn't matter. It helps you survive and hold aggro. You were not DPS. Dark Knight was a DPS. You were a tank, not a DPS. For fuck's sake. The Dark Knight was a DPS. Look it up. Oh yes, Dark Knight, my favorite DPS. The lowest DPS tank. You are tank now. Dark Knight is a tank job that wields a great sword. Unlike 2.0 jobs, Dark Knight does not have a base class. It was a DPS in other FF games, yeah, but in 14 it's a tank. Yeah. Good old tanking. What I just hit? I hit something with my foot. Okay, it's not that hard to open a file. Come on, File Explorer, you can do it. I know you're stupid, but you can do it. Alright. I think that's what he's getting at. Doesn't
And then
even
there was
matter.
Anticipation, an ability that... This one is funny to me as parrying was removed as any...
So I need a screenshot of camouflage. Oh, it's GUE. Move her F14. I wouldn't even want it. The Sheltron... Yeah. Alright. And the other one I need is...
Breaker, an ability that boosted their parry rate called Camouflage. Literally just removed which was an ability that helped players nullify knockback.
Yeah, Arm's Length is the last one I need. I want to see Loki's browsing history. Alright. The most stereotypical thing you'd ever expect. It's all been researched for the past few days. Oh shit. I accidentally turned off the music. Yeah, restore. Information overload. Alright, now it works. So their thinking with Gunbreaker was legitimately, alright, we're gonna remove anticipation from everyone. But Gunbreaker, you get one. Yeah, you get one, Gunbreaker. You get your own private anticipation, and it's called Camouflage, so it sounds cooler. You're welcome. Aren't we so nice to you, Gunbreaker? You're the new guy after all. Alright.
And then there was Anticipation.
Alright. Let's drag this up.
Your parry rate by 30%. This one is funny to me as parrying was removed. This one is funny to me as parrying was removed as anything more than a latent background calculation in 4.0, and the ability to boost your parry rate was removed in 5.0 Shadowbringers.
On all except Gunbreaker, that is. No, Gunbreaker got to keep it. Gunbreaker just was like, no, I am the parry. How the fuck are you supposed to parry someone that's with that fucking gun blade? Doesn't matter. It's what I do. Mortal limits mean nothing to me. I am a Gunbreaker. So stupid. Is this good game design? No. No, it's not. I don't ever think it is. That video made it seem I'm supposed to have, oh no. Like, what? What's going on?
What's an enmity Where's my DPS stance? But for whatever reason, Square decided to give the new tank Gunbreaker an ability that boosted their parry rate. For whatever reason... But for whatever reason, Yoshi P decided this was a good idea. Why, Yoshi P? It really wasn't. Listen, normally I agree with what you... What the fuck was this? For a reason, Square decided to give the new tank Gunbreaker an ability that boosted their parry rate. For a reason, Square... But for whatever reason, I'm gonna give it a blur, actually, to just show, like, what the fuck? They just transformed this. This is the same thing as it was. For whatever reason, Square decided to give the new tank Gunbreaker an ability that boosted their parry. Give the new tank Gunbreaker an ability that boosted their parry rate called Camouflage. Why? What was the point of this? You literally just camouflage. Why? Camouflage. Seriously, what the fuck was the point of this? Why? What was the point of this? You literally just removed parry rate from all the other tanks. The new addition was arm's length. The other tanks. We'll immediately set this to, don't forget the 10% defense up! Yes, because that was a very big deal. Why? Oh, fuck. That's not what I want to do. Why? Tank. To be fair, there really wasn't a point in adding
called
that.
Camouflage.
Why? What was the point of this? You literally just removed parry rate from all the other tanks. The new addition was Arm's Length, which was an ability that helped players nullify knockback. Gunbreaker's Heart of Corundum. I don't think I will ever see the point. Arm's Length. This was a good addition. And everyone has it. Everyone except healers, because they're not cool. They don't get it. They don't get to have Arm's Length. It was added in 4.0, but tanks got it in 5.0. I should probably add a note. Just need to double check it. Yeah, they have sharecasts, but nah, we're cooler. You mean inner release on Warrior? I don't think that's what inner release does. I might be wrong. I don't remember. Yeah, so they just got this. They just were like, fine, tanks, I know we did you dirty here. You can have the best kid ability of the other guys. You want what the other kids are playing with? Here, take it. You know, we've taken a lot from you. We may as well give you something. We've taken a lot from you this past update. Plus immunity to sleep and some other debuffs.
The new addition was Arm's Length, which was an ability
Yeah, but does it have slow 20% when barrier struck? I don't think
that
so.
helped players nullify knockback and draw in during its time frame, and would also cause a 20% slow for 15 seconds to any enemy that hits the tank in that time frame. All in all, tanking was made to be basically a time frame.
Tanking was made to be basically DPS. but get hit a lot. All in all, tanking was made to be basically a high health DPS that just needs to flip a switch to grab aggro and likely never lose it. It was a controversial change, but one that was good for the average player who didn't want to constantly worry about aggro and make every single tank viable as both a main and off tank. Not to mention that back in Stormblood, people literally said that if you had your tank stance on, you were being a detriment to the party, so there was already a lot of existing problems with the stance system. It wasn't just tanks that saw... Oh yay, now I get to make fun of healers. My favorite thing to do. To do this, I will need to get a...
He decided 3 seals you can use an ability. The point is almost an rate, a whole number like 10,000. And
where's me healing? Yeah, sure, we'll use Leviathan. Works for me. Good night. Later, Galactic.
Stance system. It wasn't just tanks this system. It wasn't...
Alright.
Stance system. It wasn't just tanks that saw a major overhaul. Healers...
Alright, so this part is called, you guys guessed it, healing changes. Oh my god.
Got similar treatment to make them all viable and push them all towards healing more. However, unlike the tanks, there was many glaring issues with the healing in Shadowbringers. Not White Mage though. White Mage was in the best spot it had ever been to that point and was lovingly regarded as Glare Mage. While the changes definitely had a different effect class by class, the underlying problem was the same. They went so far with simplifying healers that it felt to many like they stripped them of their identity. Each class went from having multiple button DPS rotations to having a single button filler nuke, with largely the same abilities across the board but with different names and slightly different potencies, and the individual systems on Scholar and Astrologian were ripped of any complexity they had. For Scholar, Shadowbringers made it so their fairies can no longer be targeted by an entity other than the player, so any need to micromanage the fairies was basically removed, making things a lot steady they had. For Scholar, Shadowbringers made it so their fairies they had.
Alright, so now paste in the Shadowbringers job action trailer. That can go. Don't need the audio for this. Just need Scholar. Ba 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 bum 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 ba ba. There we go. Scholar. Alright.
For Scholar, Shadowbringers made it so their fairies can dual systems on Scholar and Astrologian were ripped of any complexity they had. For Scholar, Shadowbringers made it so their fairies...
We'll just make it a... Yeah, this will only look bad, but... Oh well.
Any complexity they had. For Scholar, Shadowbringers made it so their fairies can no longer be targeted by an entity other than the player, so any need to micromanage the fairies was basically removed, making things a lot simpler now. Both fairies did the same thing. Scholar before Shadowbringers also had a bit of an ability bloat issue, which Square addressed by scrapping or combining the abilities, though most of these were attack spells, so Scholar still retained the identity of putting up barriers and such.
However, because of the changes to attack spells which were largely focused on cleaning up the endgame rotation, the earlier parts of the games definitely suffered on launch. For example, you had to have really decent gear and knowledge of the class in order to pass some pre-5.0 solo duties that for anyone else would be a cakewalk, which was understandably loathed. As for Astrologian, Shadowbringer saw what many would consider a cakewalk, which was understandably loathed.
Now we get to talk about the absolute murder of the card system. They did it dirty, like really fucking dirty.
Work best for me. So Shadow balance 2 minute card with
Red Mage.
wide to the next with the healing. The TP trained the do their is better. A whole number hold a combo in order to maintain Greased Lightning. GL used to increase damage and speed as long as the seal. Once you collect 3 seals, you other like what Shadowbringer point is almost are in all core to execute it. Chain drawing cards for like 2 minutes until they get what they like. Full on game of Yu-Gi-Oh! All anyone ever wanted was balance. 10%, said Yoshi P. But Yoshi P, said the unpaid Square intern. They're all balanced now. Fuck it. 10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love balance so much, they'll love this.
Alright. 10% buff. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. Just give them all balance. Make them all balance. Who cares?
Loathed. As for Astrologian, Shadowbringer saw what many would consider an absolute gutting of the card system. In the past, each card in Astrologian Drew would have a different effect when played. Balance would increase damage dealt, Bull would decrease damage taken, Spear would increase critical hit rate, and so on and so forth. However, because balance was a damage boost, all anyone ever wanted was balance, so the RNG became more of an annoyance than anything. So Shadowbringer's Yoshi P decided, you love balance but hate the other 5 cards. Fine then. They're all balanced now. Fuck it. 10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love balance so much, they'll love this. But Yoshi P, said the unpaid Square intern, what about the complexity? They'll get bored. Well then, said Yoshi. Did regenerate quite fast, so for some classes, my headcanon, and 3 seals, you get the big plus the DPS ranged. And if they want to get a better card, we'll give them more stacks of redraw and other abilities to let them chain drawing cards for like 2 minutes until they get what they like. Full on game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That sounds boring, though, said the intern.
Okay, the more I hear it, I'm like, yeah, this was a dumb section to do. But oh well, I'm stuck with it now. Alright.
Best for melee and 3 work best for ranged. And if they want to get a better card, we'll give them more stacks of redraw and other abilities to let them chain drawing cards for like 2. That sounds boring, though, said the intern. It could take more time to get the right card than the actual card would last. That sounds boring, though, said the intern. It could take more time to get the right card than the actual card buffed, plus the DPS loss would be for the right card. Easy enough to fix, remarked Yoshi P. Make it so each card has a certain seal on it, and that playing the card gives you that seal. Once you collect 3 seals, you can use an ability that is a raid-wide damage buff. If you have 3 seals, you get the biggest buff, 2 you get a smaller one, and 1 type of seal is basically a fuck you to the rest of the party. That'll get him fishing. And thus the intern scampered off and Yoshi P moved on to the next problem and Shadowbringer's Astrologian was born. This is my headcanon and I refuse was born.
Alright.
This is my headcanon and I refuse to change it. This is my headcanon and I refuse to change it. Other than the drastic changes to the cards, the job retained its identity of being able to be the jack-of-all-trades healer, with the ability to be a pure healer like White Mage or put up shields like a scholar. Congrats! You now have a really shit understanding of Shadowbringer's healing. Now then, let's get into some more rapid-fire changes that came with
No touch a healer, so true. Oomphy, oh my god.
Congrats! You now have a really shit understanding of Shadowbringer's healing. scholar. Alright. And Shadowbringer's Astrologian was born. This is my headcanon, and I refuse to change it. Other than the drastic change, moved on to the next problem, and Shadowbringer's Astrologian was born. This is my headcanon, and I refuse to change it. Other than the drastic changes to the cards, the job retained its identity of being able to be the jack-of-all-trades healer, with the ability to be a pure healer like White Mage or put up shields like a scholar. Congrats. You now have a really shit understanding of Shadowbringer's healing. Now then, let's get into some... Alright, so that's them getting into the rapid fire part. So, now we need a picture of the Lord and Savior Yoshi P. PNG, preferably. Naoki Yoshida, know your meme. Oh no. Why does he have a know your meme page? Where's the meme? Related memes, please look forward to it. Oh. So that's just the meme, is like, please look forward to it. Someday he'll get his dream collaboration with World of Warcraft. Yes, an FF14 World of Warcraft crossover. I imagine that would go over extremely well with the player base. Wow, look at that peak in popularity of the word Yoshi P in April of 2005. Man peaked. Then mid 2020. That's weird. That's like when looking up a word and you're like, ah, yes, it was a big thing in the 1800s. Oh, God. Tub of spaghetti, what do you mean? I feel like I missed something. That's a terrible picture. I need unpaid intern. Intern. PNG. Stock photo. Businessman stock photo PNG. They be the same picture, you know. No, they need to be different. Oh, this is a fake PNG. Shit. Oh, well, we're gonna go onto this site. Download it. What? No. We're not downloading from that. Why is Andrew Garfield on here? Should this be the intern? Nah, well, game developer stock
photo PNG. That might be better. Oh. Ah, yes, overworked immediately. Monster Hunter. Game developer stock photo. Okay, let's oh god, this is beautiful. This is just a kid. Yeah, we're going back to the businessman stock photos. We're getting better results over on this side of the tracks. Congratulations, sir. You are our intern. It's a great honor. You're not getting paid, but it's a great honor. You should be happy.
That sounds boring, though. Abilities to let them chain draw, increase critical hit rate, and as for Astrology, Shadowbringer saw what many would consider to have a different effect when played. Balance would increase damage dealt, Bowl would decrease damage taken, Spear would increase critical hit rate, and so on and so forth. However, because Balance was a damage boost, all anyone ever wanted was Balance, so the RNG became more of an annoyance than anything. So Shadowbringer's Yoshi P decided, you love Balance, but hate the other 5 cards. Fine then. They're all balanced now. Annoyance than anything. So Shadowbringers than anything.
That looks so bad. Actually, we need Interno as well. Intern, you can start over here. Yoshi P, nope, there we go. Yoshi P can hang out in this corner here. Oh, fuck. It's a terrible photo, Yoshi P, but...
Decided, you love Balance, but hate the other... Decided, you... Decided...
What the...
The other 5 cards. You love Balance, but hate the other 5 cards.
Oh, fuck.
You love Balance, but hate the... You love... So Shadowbringer's Yoshi P decided, you love Balance, but hate the other 5 cards. Fine then. They're all balanced. Now. Fuck it. 10% now. Fuck it.
What the fuck? How did I end up editing this?
10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love Balance so much, fuck it. 10%. 10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love Balance so much, they'll love this. But Yoshi P said so much, they'll love this.
Okay, so this needs to be like 2 times Yoshi P.
Balance so much, fuck it. 10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love Balance so much, they'll love this.
What the hell has my life come to here? Why did I ever think this was a good idea?
So Shadowbringer's Yoshi P decided, you love Balance, but hate the other 5 cards. Fine then. They're all balanced now. Fuck it. 10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love Balance so much, they'll love this. But Yoshi P said the...
Oh my god. The unpaid Square Enix intern.
square in turn.
Because you love the 14 cents YouTube sends you. Yeah.
Square in turn. What about the complexity? They'll get bored. Well then. They'll get bored. Well then, said Yoshi P. Bored. They'll get bored.
Oh god. The funny thing is, it's just a really bad but accurate way to describe the way healing works. Well, astrologian anyway.
Then, said Yoshi P. 3 cards work best for melee and 3 work best for ranged. And if they want to get a better card, we'll give them more stacks of redraw and other abilities to let them chain drawing cards for like 2 minutes until they get. But Yoshi P, said the unpaid square intern, what about the complexity? They'll get bored. Well then, said Yoshi P.
Well, the one good thing about it is that I can just do this black and white Yoshi P, and then I'll just.
What about the card? We'll give them more stacks of redraw and other abilities to let them chain drawing cards for like 2 minutes until they get what they like. Full on game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That sounds full on game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That sounds game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That sounds boring, though, said the intern. It could take more time to get the right card than the actual card would last, and only certain classes would ever get buffed. Plus, the DPS loss would make it not viable to go fishing for the right card. Easy enough to fix, remarked for the right card.
The funny thing is, with how fucking weird astrologian is and how they completely massacred the card system, I wouldn't be surprised if this is how they decided how to do it. So, like, it's bad. No, it's good.
Easy enough to fix, remarked Yoshi. Go fishing for the right card. Easy enough to fix, remarked Yoshi P. Make it so each card has a certain seal on it, and that playing the card gives you that seal. Once you collect 3 seals, you can use an ability that is a raid-wide damage buff. If you have 3 seals, you get the biggest buff. 2, you get a smaller one. And 1 type of seal is basically a fuck you to the rest of the party. That'll get him fishing. Fuck you to the rest of the party. And 1 type of seal is basically a smaller one. You to the rest of the party. And 1 type of seal is basically a fuck you to the rest of the party. That'll get him fishing. And thus the intern scampered off the rest of the party. That'll get him fishing.
I guess you can't tell, I don't like astrologian compared to what it used to be.
2, you get a smaller one. And 1 type of seal is basically a...
Let's add a push effect. Push right. Oh, no, he needs to be pushed left in 30 frames. We'll push Yoshi P. Push Yoshi P right in 30 frames. Up.
A fuck you to the rest of the party. That'll get him fishing. And thus the intern...
Oh, God. Never mind. It's the other way around.
That'll get him fishing. And thus the intern scampered off and Yoshi P moved. But Yoshi...
I should have just gotten a picture of Koji. But Yoshi P, this is a bad idea. Shut up.
But Yoshi P, said the unpaid... So Shadowbringer's Yoshi P decided, you love balance but hate the other 5 cards. Fine then. They're all balanced now. So Shadowbringer's Yoshi P decided, you love balance but hate the other 5 cards. Fine then. They're all balanced now. Fuck it. 10% damage buff every 30 seconds. If they love balance so much, they'll love this. But Yoshi P, said the unpaid Square intern, what about the complexity? They'll get bored. Well
Oh
then,
my.
said Yoshi P. 3 cards work best for melee and 3 work best for range.
How long did I
and
just
if they
spend
want to get a
making
better
this?
card, we'll give them more stacks of redraw and other ability classes would never get buffed. Plus, the DPS loss would make it not viable to go fishing for the right card. Easy enough to fix, remarked Yoshi P. Make it so each card has a certain seal on it and that raid-wide damage buff. If you have 3 seals, you get the biggest buff, 2 you get a smaller one, and 1 type of seal is basically a fuck you to the rest of the party. That'll get them fishing. And thus the intern scampered off and Yoshi P moved on to the next problem and Shadowbringer's Astrologian was born. This is my headcanon and I refuse to change it. Other than the drastic changes to the cards, the job retained its identity of being able to be the jack-of-all-trades healer, with the ability to be a pure healer like White Mage or put up shields like a Scholar. Congrats. You now have a really shit understanding of Shadowbringer's healing. Now then, let's...
Alright, then I'm gonna end the stream there for the night. And just be able to do this off stream a bit more. I don't know, I'm just kind of tired. Thank you, everyone. Definitely a weird stream, I know. I don't normally do editing streams all that often. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. See